Greetings, traveler. You've just landed on the Mikey and Me podcast, but fear not, for this is no mistake. No fault in the stars, no glitch in the matrix. I'm afraid this has all been planned by powers known not to us. So pull up a chair and join us as we find our way together, for you are among friends.
Woo!
And we are about to be joined by a friend here shortly.
Man.
A friend that is... I'm just so excited to have him back.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting in the
He's
chair
here
right
kinda
there.
in spirit, he's here.
That's him.
He's
Because
gonna-
whenever you take a picture, you know, he's still a tiny part of their soul. So that's a tiny part of his soul
It's
right
a
there.
little piece of our buddy here.
Michael Sawan,
Michael Sawan,
a.k.a. what?
a.k.a.
SoftMax. SoftMax. That's the
Soft-
man.
But
the
you know
man.
what? He gets the people hard, and that's why we're bringing him back to you guys.
Heck yeah.
We're blessed and happy and honored to have him here again. And so,
Most
without
definitely.
further ado, SoftMaxPlus. And we're back. And as promised, fuck me, I dropped the book. As promised, I told you guys
me
we'd get him back.
$1,000.
And he promised us, really. He was the one who was so gracious to promise us so long ago that he'd be joining us in another 6 months.
Who is this pug?
This is Matthew's pug, Potato. She's a big old thick girl. We love our Potato.
Yeah.
She's she's what'd you say? She's pleasantly plump.
Yeah.
We don't shame anything like that around here. But she's a big old precious girl. But she can't help being in here. I've got another one running around here.
through.
What a sweetie.
So you're back, man. What have you been up to in this time? We've been watching you, but we'd love to hear what you have to say about
Yeah.
it.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's been crazy. You know, I think last time we talked, I was pretty much in the middle of what I'm now calling Hot Clown Summer,
Okay.
which was just like, I think in hindsight, what was going on was I had like a novel character that people were into, especially in Cincinnati, just because, you know, local representation. And it was new to me too. So it was, you know, novel, not just for people, but for me. And then also just, you know, it was just fun. It was just a fun new thing. And so that carried me through probably up until the late fall. But then once it started getting cold and once it was less fun going out, like, you know, and
Yeah,
like,
it's
'cause
pretty
a lot
miserable.
of my videos are just, a lot of my videos are just go outside, drink,
Yeah.
interact with people. Like that was pretty much
Yeah,
it.
the weather is like an important factor in how
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I got tired of talking about, you know, the books I'd written, and I just sort of got tired generally. I also at that point was trying to focus more on YouTube and making like longer YouTube videos, which is kind of draining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hot Clown Summer ended, and I saw less of a response on for short videos. For instance, my Instagram's been sitting around like 80K now for a while.
Okay, kind of a
TikTok's
plateau you feel like you came up on.
Yeah. TikTok's sitting around 19 something K. But so that's on the negative, and you know I can be kind of pessimistic sometimes. But on the positive, I did start focusing on longer YouTube videos. Me and my improv friends had this idea to rather than just going out and seeing what happens organically, we're going to try and like come up with a premise based on where we are. And it's nice because like a lot of Cincinnati places have started just inviting me to like come check out their spaces. So based on the space and based on improvisers I know, we've just been putting together these short premises and filming based on that, maybe like a 15-20 minute YouTube video.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, and that's worked. I mean, it is work, and it is harder than, you know, doing the short videos. So I've had to stop posting so many short videos so I can focus on the longer videos. But it's paid off. Like I was able to monetize on YouTube.
Wow.
Not that
Congratulations
I,
on that.
Yeah.
Anything you can get from
Yeah,
like, that's
absolutely.
cool. That's
and it's
awesome.
cool for sure. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
just the achievement in and of itself is pretty neat. You
Yeah.
know, it's not something, you know, definitely credit to you for that.
Yeah. So I mean, thank you. And like, so right now, refinding that balance, because I also want to, you know, I got new stuff I'm writing that I want to release over the summer, and
Cool.
I do want to get back to shorter videos now that it's warming up, and I
Yeah.
do still want to keep making these longer videos because I think there is an audience for them.
I agree.
Like a completely different audience from
That's a fascinating. The more just kind of trying to plug into both worlds, seeing how it's crazy.
I think eventually people, you do get tired of it. You get tired of just doom scrolling on Instagram, and that was one of the reasons, and the main thing that was so refreshing when I found him is because it was like, okay, this is somebody that's not just, they're doing something genuine that, you know, a clown thing's been around for a long time. Clowns have been around forever, but nobody else was doing it really the way he did.
Right.
And so it's like, it automatically kind of grabs you. And then like, you know, it's not just these short, like, not just a fucking TikTok dance or something, you know, no disrespect to people that do that and make a living off of it. But honestly, like so long after you scroll, it's like, it's refreshing to see something that pulls you out of
into
just
the same thing.
It pulls you out of just that, like, you know, continuous going through the algorithm and looking for stuff. And it's like, I think eventually people, you know, do kind of gravitate more toward the long form stuff eventually.
Yeah, because then when you get those eyeballs actually into you, you know, one eyeball watching a whole long form video, all that viewing time, you know, so it's kind of whatever amount of the short term audience might translate into the long form audience. Mm-hmm. And then I think some of them are just, you know, there's the Venn diagram, and then I think some are just completely on the different islands, right? But it's just learning how to navigate that world. I imagine it's just been kind of like, what? How come whenever something does work or hit and something doesn't, you're like, I didn't put anything into that, but that took off, and I put so much time into this. But hey, whatever. That's the way it works.
It seems like trying to understand that in those terms, like whenever, there's no point in trying to understand.
It's wasted energy.
And you know, the example people point to is Mr. Beast, who like gave himself like a college degree in how to make long videos. And look at the videos he's making. Like, not to denigrate Mr. Beast, like he has a fun product that people enjoy, but you know, that's the path he ended up finding that just was calculated by him to work.
Yeah.
And people.
There we go.
No,
you froze for like 2 seconds, but you're good.
Okay, cool. And I don't have $1 million to be giving out to people. So
right? That'll get eyeballs. Right? It's like, hey, let's do what Mr. Beast is doing. I think he just has a game show where he gives away $1 million. That sounds like I'll get some people.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, I was just going to say, it's like, I feel like, you know, definitely, what do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah. So it's like, you know, and I'll say, I mean, you know, definitely from watching your newer stuff, like, you know, because last time you said, or like you were saying, the last time we talked, you had kind of told us at the end of the episode, or kind of around the end, that you feel like you were going to, you know, start doing what you're doing now, like that you wanted to make a really good, like, kind of talk show. And just seeing as it's kind of evolved, I think it's really cool. And, you know, I don't know where you found these people. Like you said, that was it your improv thing or whatever?
So the people that were in the audience for...
just all these different videos he's doing. Yeah, the audience, exactly. Okay. Like, wherever... I think that's beautiful in and of itself. All those people that have been in your videos have all seemed like it's all worked so well and just kind of cohesive and everything.
Yeah. Because I was just, like, when I was rewatching the first episode in the basement, just looking at the people down there, it looked kind of like he just literally ran across people and had a chance to talk to them, like, hey, would you want to come down and check this out? And they're all probably like, sure.
You know, I'm not far off. I mean, I think pretty much there were maybe like 3 or 4 people in the audience who I didn't know through improv, but pretty much in that first episode, pretty much everybody else was, just a friend from improv. The second episode, those were not only all people from improv, but people who were in the sketches, except for Monica. There's one woman in the audience named Monica who was my housemate, my friend. So,
that's funny.
So, it's the community is essential.
That's so cool.
If I had the success like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, before I had all these friends and all this community, I would have squandered it. I wouldn't have known what to do with all this attention. But having friends and having like people to bounce ideas off creatively who are excited and want to support.
Exactly. Be a part of something to where they're just excited to be there and be a part of it. It's really cool to have. Man.
Yeah, it seems really it's if it all just, you know, works out to have been for this show to have been creative, it's cool because I think it's, you know, like you said, it's you know, you were getting tired of doing your writing, so all of this is kind of seems like it sparked a little bit more, you know, creativity, and like it's become a little bit more fun for you because, you know, I get how it kind of could have seemed rinse and repeat, like you said, by the fall it was kind of dying off too, with you not really wanting to go out either.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's everything's cyclical. So like now I'm
Yeah.
at a point where I want to start reading and writing again. I am excited to get back to short videos now. I feel like we've just started getting good with the longer videos, so I want to keep doing that too. I
Yeah.
also still have my full-time job.
All right.
So, something's got to give here, but
Yeah.
so far,
But at the
so
same
good.
time, this is like the first full year or so, more, a little longer of
Softmax.
of experiencing it. It's where
Yeah.
okay, you're kind of learning what the process of executing a short form and long form. So I'm sure, I know with us, even just setting things up on here at first, it'd take a lot longer, and then it's like okay, you get a process to where then over
Yeah.
time you're able to, in parallel probably be working on a long form thing, but then be able to execute little short form things, and then not just be a cluster of oh my gosh, how do I do this? So it's kind of that experience that you're just becoming a professional in all this, right?
Just putting in the time. I mean, and it's nice because it's not. It used to feel when I would make things years and years ago, like especially in my music days, we would put something out and it's just like 20 people would experience it, and
Right.
it's kind of sad. So now at least,
Well, it's sad because to compare to what we have now,
Yeah.
right?
yeah. So at least so for instance, the first talk show didn't do super well, but then my friends from Improv Tone and I made that video. I think like my idol plagiarized me or
Yeah.
something when we were in
Okay.
that theater.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
That I was surprised that one did so well.
I
was
loved it.
Getting pretty fucking sick of that one. Like,
Yeah. So what's a little more on the backstory on
I'm
that?
about to talk about it in a minute. He's like, I'm fucking tired of this.
Yeah. So I mean, I might as well. So what's a little backstory on that? My idol plagiarized me.
Sure. So so again, the Imperial Mohawk Theater reached out because they are in the middle of a capital campaign to raise money to renovate that space.
Oh, cool.
And so this is just a pattern I'm getting into now, a business. If they reach out, I'm happy to do just like a promo for them, like what's going on, what do you tell us a little bit, make a little 5-minute video so
Yeah.
they can shout out what they're working on, and then we have access to the space.
Yeah.
So thinking about these long form videos and what they should look like, I thought, well, I want to keep mentioning the books. I want to keep letting people know that I wrote these books, but I don't want to like drill,
That's a balance right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want it to just seem like inorganic, that you're just trying to like, it's all of this was a ploy just for this guy could hawk his
It
books.
started
to
as
me.
that, but it became
Like-
something more,
Like,
right?
That's exactly. No, I get it.
So Tone is that's the guy who played I'm forgetting the character's name.
Well, he's a Tony Tone, right? Is that the?
No, his name's Anthony. His name's Anthony.
Yeah.
But he goes by Tone. He played my idol in
Okay.
that sketch, and he's just a great performer. Like he's at the improv theater I go to. He's one of the, the guys who's been there for as long as I can remember, and longer still.
So
been
he's
doing this for years.
he's the fellow that played your idol in the theater.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name
yeah, yeah.
isn't Ian Queen.
Oh yes, the character's name is Ian Queen.
Okay, that's the
His name is
character.
Tone. His
Well,
name
what
is-
the fuck is going on, Michael?
I
I'm
don't know
over here
who's
thinking
who
these
anymore,
are real
man.
people. I'm writing down who are these people?
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
no,
no,
it's
no,
great.
no.
You got me. I'm over here
See,
invested.
I thought I was talking to SoftMax this whole time.
Yeah,
You see,
exactly.
that's where I'm just
Who the fuck is this? No, I will say that I love that Ian Queen character. I was gonna bring him up just to say that it was fascinating the way like his cadence. It was almost like it reminded me of like a good impression or like a natural impersonation of who's the director, the big burly director that everybody like talks shit about that thought a lot of himself. Orson Welles is
Orson Welles. Okay.
Is it him?
I mean,
He gave a very
you could
like
fit that bill.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like his he had such bravado with his character. I'm like, this guy needs to come back. Like I feel
Yeah.
like
No,
so
that's Tone. Tone's an amazing performer, and so we went out with like a 1-page premise, just like a very brief, like what you essentially see in the short the 20-minute thing
Okay.
of just these beats that we have to hit. So like we know this is just sort of good improv rules of thumb. Like our two characters know each other and we like each other, we respect each other, and we care about each other, but we find something to bring us into tension.
Okay.
So with all of that understanding and with the beats in mind, we just went to that theater and just screwed around for like 2 hours.
Man, so
That's
you're
awesome.
you're in a flow state, right? You kind of get when you're working so well, something like that. That's
Yeah. But also, what was so great was that one of my videographer friends, Aaron, he was the one,
same guy you
because
mentioned before.
yeah,
Yeah.
Aaron's the one with the Southern accent, the Kentucky accent, Ludlow, Kentucky accent. But Tone and I would just start riffing, and in improv, there's this. If it's live theater, there's this. The idea of like you're in a scene with somebody else, and when
Yes,
the scene
and.
feels like it's yes, and when the scene feels like it's over, somebody else on your team will sweep it. They'll end the scene for you.
Okay.
So it's so the team collectively sort of shapes the show as it goes along.
Okay.
It was just Tone and I. There was nobody sweeping these scenes. So
Yeah.
we were just sort of like going
Until you found a natural spot.
Until one of you passed out.
Yeah.
Well, until Aaron was like, okay, well, so hold on, what do we do? Well, he was the one who like was sort of directing.
Like,
us.
what's the Guinness record on a 2-man improv?
Yeah, right. Just keeping us on task and making sure we kept hitting our beats.
Yeah.
And changing our locations and trying different things. So yeah, we had maybe 2 hours of footage. Then I first edited the promo for them, just that 5-minute thing, that's easy. I mean, that's just make them look good, which they should. That's a great organization. I do that first, and then looking through the rest of the footage, just like, oh God. I mean, I've no training as an editor. I just sort of like jump in and sort of feel what is good and what isn't.
Right.
And after doing that for a few days, you kind of lose. I was losing my sense of what was good and what wasn't.
Seriously, it's like staring at numbers all day. They kind of lose what they mean. It's like, okay, I just need to. It's like, wait, is that people gonna like
this
this
even
part?
funny?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right. Is this even funny? Yeah, right. Like, does this start fast enough? Is this
I
interesting?
got you.
Are people even gonna? Because that first minute is so important.
Mm-hmm.
For keeping people engaged.
Yeah.
And so I was just eventually got to a point where I was like, I think it's pretty good. I showed it to my girlfriend Harley, and she was like, yeah, nice.
Sounds like my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, honey. Yeah,
So released it, and very pleased with the response. And added bonus, all of these people who found it, this was their introduction to me. They then went and looked at old videos, especially the first episode of the SoftMaxPlus show.
Yes.
Which just boosted those numbers.
Isn't that a great feeling?
That's awesome.
I imagine. Just
that your past work paid off. It's like it didn't pay off immediately, but then it's like something else
That's
new
the cool
happened,
thing
and now
about
they
all
come
this.
back, and
because
it's really awesome.
It could, years down the road, people discover you. They actually get into you. People go, they go back.
Yeah.
They want to see the whole story. So it's.
I'll say this, and I
cool.
don't know if anybody's ever said this, but you've made. I'm not even.
I like
I'm
the
not
Mike and Me
lying.
podcast.
No. That we're
Okay.
gonna get to that later. But I was gonna say, you've made me want to go to Cincinnati. I don't know if anybody's ever said that, but like I want to fucking go to the north side of Cincinnati and check it out.
Yeah.
I want to. I'm being for real. Like I mean, all these little spots he's at. Like I mean,
You're showing charm. You're showing
it's
some elements of the city that do.
It's the
make
way
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's his mise en scene. The way he sets his mise en scene is perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
it's
do
just
know what
like
you're saying.
everything. And I
There
will
you
add
go.
this, man. I'm gonna, as your your legal attorney and guidance here. I'm gonna lead you. And I think you gotta take this to the Cincinnati Reds baseball game.
After you speak with Joe Burrow.
Gotta get good with Joe.
Yeah.
And we gotta get the whole Jamar T situation figured out.
Yes.
But yes. No, I would love to go to a Reds game. We were supposed to go.
Throw out the first pitch, like, dude, I can see it. I can see.
I can
Softmax
see him.
throwing out the
I can
first
see
pitch,
him with the
dude,
sign
with the
in
high
the
life in one
stands.
hand.
I
throwing
can
the
just see
pitch
him
out.
in the stands with a sign that's calling out Sundance. What a better place to do it.
Oh,
Call Sundance out.
Yeah.
I'm. That's great. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because walk us through what's happening with Sundance.
So-
Because was that the reason for the head shave and the heel turn?
So the beginning of the second episode of your show starts. I guess you shot him at the same spot, or is it? Okay, cool. So But yeah, so Sundance, what's the beef? What?
Okay, all right. Okay, so well, the head shave thing, I've always just gone back and forth, like grow my hair out long, buzz it all off, grow it all out, buzz it all off, and so my hair right before I cut it off was the longest it's been in like probably 10 years.
You had some pretty good lettuce. Yeah, you had quite a bit of it.
Because of all the clown shit. Like
That'll do it.
And so I had known since probably like the fall that I wanted to go into the river and buzz all my hair off and go into the river.
The river was calling you.
Yeah. And so I knew I wanted to do that, and I knew I wanted DJ Boywife to buzz my hair because he's a local celebrity. He's
DJ Boywife?
Yeah,
DJ Boywife.
Cutting his hair.
Okay, cool.
He's a Cincinnati guy, doing really well. And so, so then since I knew I was going to be going to the river, I knew that I wanted the second episode to start with me busting out the river. Oh, I'm late again.
Yes.
And then with all of this, the Sundance Film Festival is trying to decide where to move in 2027.
Okay.
So like right now they're in their old spot, like Park City or Park Slope, whatever it's called, and they're gonna move, and they're either
Colorado, correct?
No, Utah, right?
Utah. Okay, I don't know why I thought Colorado.
Yeah. No, it's all. So one of the places they might move is Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
They might move to Salt Lake, which is very close to
where they're at,
where they're currently at, or they might go to Cincinnati. Like just
that's so
right. They're like, we're looking at these two spots and Cincinnati. Fuck it.
In Cincinnati. But, I mean, it makes sense if we have a lot of
they got a good art scene, it seems like.
Yeah, and a lot of big film productions do get filmed here because we have like kind of an old downtown that you can fake it to look like New York.
Yeah, okay,
and, it's cheaper here, and there's a lot of different surrounding areas with a lot of different like natural areas or otherwise.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they're thinking of Cincinnati. We also have like a pretty good arts community. We have a lot of theaters. We have a lot of this and that. The problem is we're Cincinnati, and Sundance has this reputation for being in a little mountain town. So anyway, all that was bubbling around. Leading up to the river, I knew I was going to be in there anyway. So part of me wanted to just bust out and like talk shit about Sundance. It just was funny to me, and I figured I'm going to be in the river anyway, so I'll do it. So then, if you have a good idea, don't do it once. Do it a bunch. So that's another thing I've noticed with all these short videos. Even if it's a good short video, not all of my audience is going to see it.
Yeah.
Like, even if it hits like 50 or 100K, not everybody's going to see it. So you might as well do it a few times. So then I did it again while we were out front of this bar, Arnold's, for this Bachfest Sausage Princess competition, but that's a different thing. And
sounds like something I'd like to know more about.
He won. I think. Aren't you the sausage queen?
No, I'm still a princess.
Okay.
Kelly ended up winning, which is for the best. Kelly is going to be an amazing queen because there's a lot of responsibility.
Phenomenal. There you go.
She really wanted it, and she deserves it. Her performance was great. We filmed it. I'll release it eventually.
Cool.
But,
yeah, they don't need you up there clowning around.
Let's. So now there's a local theater called the Esquire, which is locally owned, and they invited us to come out and do whatever. And so we filmed like a 20-minute video length, like it's a couple hours shoot, but we filmed. Yeah. One of my friends played Louis Sundance, and we wrestle. I'm editing it now. I'm in that weird period where like I'm just trying to tweak it and get the pacing right.
Yeah.
And, make sure.
So nobody played Robert Redford in a okay. Yeah.
But there's some sweet wrestling action in this movie theater.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's it's so, I guess, that's not fun. I mean, because whenever he came out of the river in that short, I was saying, dude, this is like such a wrestling intro type promo. So I was even saying, I could see you somehow working your way into a WWE pay-per-view, something if they ever came to Cincinnati or something.
Say that.
To where you could be like, your local guy, whoever.
That'd be great.
Like,
that'd be great.
That honestly, you honestly have a very good shot of that actually happening with AEW. If AEW comes through, AEW is a lower promotion. They're still popular, but they're trying to compete with WWE. if like I shit you not, AEW
Dude.
might let him come out and hit somebody with a chair.
Do you imagine 5 years from now, you're a professional wrestler, global fame?
that'd
You're
be
like, did you ever
hilarious.
see your life taking this turn?
He said, I would love that.
Yeah.
He was already out running, so I mean, he's ready. He's getting in shape. He's ready.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not training for my health. I'm training for my wrestling career.
That'd be awesome.
One of my improv friends, her name's actually Marty Bell. She is I think she is still a professional wrestler. Like she still goes out and does bouts and
That's
stuff.
legit.
Dude,
Yeah, she
That's
has more
like-
followers than me.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
We'll have to check her out.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool.
You say what's her name?
Marty Bell, I'll butcher her last name. Begins with a P.
Okay.
But yeah, she's on Instagram and all
I'll find
that.
her.
wow.
We'll find
But
her.
yeah,
Marty Bell.
so you mentioned, I'm sorry, I can't remember if you can finish what you were saying. But so on your show, I'm sorry.
No. So we filmed the wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Wrestling is hard, by the way. Yeah, my friend Evan and I, we both got winded just going at it. It was of this video, like only maybe 5 or 10 minutes is us actually wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
It's exhausting.
It's 10-minute breaks every time between that.
Yeah, and especially if you had that suit on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you'll see.
Okay,
See.
okay,
Oh,
all right.
sweet.
He's like, well, you're just gonna have to wait. You're not getting anything yet.
Yeah.
That's
Man,
awesome.
well, that's a cool situation where
Yeah.
it's being invited places kind of helps
Yeah.
dictate what for you to do next or kind of focus on. You know, it's not like having an empty slate of what should I do next. Like, oh, well, here's the venue, here's this. You know, that kind of. So that's a real cool thing. But this is kind of disconnected. But I had a quick question, just so like on your episodes that you've had, the people you've interviewed. Because I know the first episode, it was really cool because you interviewed that street artist, which I was kind of like, we've done a couple interviews with some street artists in Austin that are, you know, it seems like they'd be in a similar world of the kind of guerrilla art stuff that they do. And I thought that was really cool that you'd interviewed one. And it was a cool thing he said. He's wearing that mask and he's saying he's like, I really wouldn't be interesting if I didn't have this mask on, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I thought that's fascinating, but I was just curious, you know, how you came about interviewing these people that you're able to get.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, Technique 2012, he did a piece of street art featuring the SoftMax. And so, I mean, that was awesome. So I wanted to bring him on just because.
That's not the one. Is that the one?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
I believe the wheat paste guy.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, I've
That's him.
shared
He's-
shared his stuff on our page before
Okay.
because he just did one where he had the heat character with all the eggs, the duffel bag full of eggs. I was like, that shit is hard.
Okay.
Yeah. He's great. And he's just a artist. Just, you know, he does that stuff in his free time on butcher paper.
Cool.
Goes out at night and throws them up. But so yeah, I met him. He's great. And then the second guest on that one was Puro Dice. I met her.
Yeah, the
at
burlesque dancer. Yeah.
Yes, I met her at an event in Cincinnati. It was called Fairview Fest. And you know, how often do you meet another clown? out and
Right?
about?
Yeah, no
So I
kidding.
thought, you know, if you know, sex and death, that's what sells. So I thought it would be not only relevant to invite her onto the show, but also titillating.
Yeah.
She-
Indeed.
She did a great job.
Yeah.
And then the second episode, the first guest, that was sort of a late. So Mullet Review, that was kind of a late change because we had to change the date because of some scheduling issues with videographers. So our original guest, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I was introduced to him through some of my improv friends. He just runs a duck sanctuary.
A duck sanctuary.
Yeah, the guy
Oh,
just ran a duck
that's cool.
sanctuary, and so he was just going to come out and bring some ducks, and it was just.
I mean, my daughter loves ducks. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, ducks are awesome. But
Who doesn't love
we
a
had
duck?
to change. Yeah, we had to change the date, and then I had trouble getting a hold of him to confirm the new date. So I just like So then we went with Molt Review instead, who I had just met.
Yeah, Mullet Review. That's the name I was trying to
yeah.
remember.
He had his hot mullet summer this past.
Yeah, he's a food reviewer, right?
Yeah.
A food critic?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. He's just a Cincinnati guy. He blew up over the summer. He's doing really well. So I just met him. We needed a guest, and he was available. So that was super fun. We're gonna try and do like a 80s action movie style video.
Oh, dude.
over the
perfect.
summer.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that dude's perfect for an '80s action guy.
Yeah.
That's
And,
cool.
Yeah. He's great. He's super fun. He's really fun when you get a couple beers in him. And then
Same here.
And then Yeah, the last guest that was Jerome York. He's just the guy who introduced me to clown stuff and taught me that
Okay.
it's not just Ronald McDonald and circus clowns. Like clown has a lot of different angles, a lot of different types of clowns.
Yeah, actually, I had a note. I'm glad you brought him up. I had a note made of old Jerome, and I really loved his whole performance was great. His entrance into the thing and him deciding. I thought it was really neat. One of my favorite parts was when he decided after falling, trying to get up the steps, when he decided to wipe his feet off on the bricks before going up the grassy hill.
Yes,
I thought that to me was just it was comedic. It was such awareness.
Yeah.
And comedic perfection that it was like, this is really good. It's like, and he played that character so well. But I wanted to bring him up for a couple of reasons. One, I liked, number one, the interaction itself, because it was just so beautiful. But I also loved what you said. You loved that he said, which is that accidents or opportunities and failure is a choice.
Yep.
And I love the fact that he was like, I said that. And it meant so much to you. So, like, if you could explain that a little bit to us, like, about just your relationship with him, and because he's a super cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is maybe about a little over a year ago. Through improv, the Colin, the guy, he runs Improv Cincinnati. He's co-owner of Improv Cincinnati, and he also coaches a team that I'm on. And he and I were talking one day, and he said, "Hey, what do you think about having a clown class? Like having this guy Jerome teach you all about clown?" And I was opposed to it. My first instinct.
So you were anti-clown in the beginning. Okay.
Well, because I was thinking, like, I don't want to learn how to make balloon animals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know the depth that you've come to learn about it. Yeah.
I didn't know anything. About it. I just thought, I was thinking of circus clowns and all that sort of birthday clowns. But Colin was like, well, no. I mean, clown is not just that. And it's there's a strong undercurrent in improv that's clown based, like theater clown based. There's a guy named Chad Damiani out in Los Angeles.
Yes, we talked about him just briefly last time.
Yeah, yep. Cool guy. I've seen some of his recordings, and he's just hilarious, very physical, very self-aware, really engages with the audience a lot. These are like clown type activities I would come to learn. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Jerome comes in, he coaches this improv team I'm on for about a month, and it was great. It was I learned a lot, and it was inspiring for my videos because I was about to head back out warm weather was coming last year. I was going to go out and do videos anyway. I had the suit. I was like, oh, well, I might as well put on some clown paint. Why not? I also bought some noses that I never got to use because they arrived late, but that's okay.
It worked out.
The little red dot's good enough.
So we have this guy to thank for SoftMax, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Colin and Jerome, they're the ones who made me aware that this was even a possibility. Yeah.
The clown was always in you, but they helped you refine it and bring it out, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come to think that everybody has some sort of like archetypal character inside of them.
I'm pointing at each other because
I just told
you're
him
saying
that.
words and things that.
Yeah, I was just talking to him about how I thought I wanted to talk to you about that.
You're taking away his questions by answering them.
It's beautiful. I love that it's obviously the one spurred him along enough, and no, it's beautiful, man. I mean, I just think that into what because what you guys are doing, it's like. Even with what you were talking about in that interview with him, I love just to compliment the whole thing for a second. I did love how you combine, everybody's like strengths or whatever they bring to the table, and you're combining humor with then also an actual interview and some seriousness in the situation, and about how him talking. I loved how y'all were talking about energy and stuff like that. And then he said something about what was it? It was something about like people seeing without receiving. Mm-hmm. And I thought it's just, again, it's like you said, I wasn't expecting to necessarily learn so much just from kind of the philosophy of clowning and stuff.
So seeing without receiving, like what's he referring to, like in that, just in that statement?
Sure. So it's the idea of like when you're walking down a street there's so much information. There's so many
Okay.
people. There's so much going on. You just have to kind of put the blinders on. It's a part of being a functioning adult. You have to
Right.
be able to focus. You have to be able to just like tune things out.
Okay.
So seeing without receiving would be like if you're walking down the street, sometimes you can get so desensitized that it's like there's literally like a homeless guy sleeping in like a full wherever, sleeping on a street or something.
Yeah, poor
And-
condition or something.
Yeah, and like if you go far enough down that path, you can just notice it happens and not feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yep, homeless guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep trucking, like not feel anything, not respond in any way.
Yeah.
Accept it as just a blank fact without any sort of resonance.
Yeah, like someone could be screaming out for help in the alleyway, and you just kind of go, "Oh, this person's screaming out for help." Okay, blah blah.
And you get far enough down that path,
Yeah.
if you tune out all of that enough, then absolutely.
Then you're not receiving what's okay. That makes sense.
So the seeing is a thing that Jerome talks about, which is the idea of when two people, I see you seeing me. Like there's that connection of just accepting that somebody else is in your presence and feeling that energy.
Yeah, like
lack of a
acknowledging
word.
their existence
absolutely.
just through observation, but you can see it. I see you seeing me. That I've thought about it, but I've never heard it verbalized
Sure.
that way. But it's a simple,
Yeah.
powerful concept to just think about.
Yeah.
Just when you catch someone's eyes and you just look at each other, it's like, wow, we're actually just taking each other in right now, and there is an energy, just like you just said. It's wild.
Chemistry is another way to think about it. It's just and then in a performance setting that goes even further. The idea being having you can do that with a person one-to-one. You can do that with an audience, like you're sort of in this transfer of attention with a group of people, and then on like the largest level, which Jerome calls diva mode, you're doing that with the entire universe. Like you feel as if sort of that main character,
Yeah.
that everybody is watching and everybody's paying attention.
Interesting. It's
you're-
fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff, especially when performing. It helps get your mind right.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It just seems like he seems like a great guy to have around. Is a somebody positive that you can bounce stuff off of, like you were saying, and just to have I've learned just in throughout my life how important it is to have those people that are giving you that positive energy and kind of filling you up and pushing you along, rather than kind of depleting you or telling you oh, this isn't going to work, or that's stupid, or why are you doing this?
They're
or
like
you
a
need to be
net
doing
positive
that.
impact on you just by being around them.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that it seems like just through what you've been doing, just all these people that you've attracted in doing it, and now it seems like what's cool about it, I think, is that like you've kind of hit a path in the road, and you could have decided to just keep sticking this out and doing your own thing on your own and continue doing what you think people like or what got you here, but then also there's this other path where it's like broaden your horizons and kind of involve more people and see what we can create and what can happen through that collaborative effort through collaboration versus competition.
Definitely there's that I think it's fake, or if it's not fake, it's just misattributed, but that it's an African proverb, which is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Okay.
Which it's cheesy when applied in like old Africa wisdom. Like Africa's a giant fucking continent. But it's not wrong though. It's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, having people to share everything with only makes it
Yeah.
easier.
And you support each other. Like you might be able to sprint, and then that's how far you can get. But collectively the supporting, sharing, just invigorate, all that. So
we're just recently talking about on our last episode this guy named Chase Hughes who does this behavioral stuff, and in one of a podcast we were listening to with him in it, he talks about how like he tells his kids and younger kids too that like not to look at the world through hierarchy, to like get out of that thinking of like I'm above this person or this person's below me or I'm above them. He talked about how much that'll just hinder and hurt a person versus rather, being collaborative and trying to work with people. And it's funny, I had an old man when I was doing early on in lawn care, like when I first started my business, and he'd see me out there by myself at the end of the day, you know, struggling. And he'd be like, he called me over one time and he was like, I'm going to tell you something that I had an economics teacher tell me when I was young. He was like, son, this world is like a giant pipe, and through this giant pipe is angel food cake. That's what's flowing through this pipe. And he's like, you can stick your hands into this pipe, and the whole object is to catch as much cake as you can catch in these hands and pull out as much cake as possible. And then he was like, now that he's like, you can do that. He's like, the real game of it is he was like, get as many people as you know to come together, and all of you put your hands out and put your hands in and pull out as much cake as you can. Mm-hmm. So it was really a rudimentary way of putting it, but again, just how
it's like simple proverbs. That's how you communicate those deep, insightful thought, lessons like that.
What he was trying to do was tell me I need to hire somebody else so I'm not mowing his yard at 6. That's what he was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Share the wealth. I need to do the same thing. Yeah. I'm going to need to hire an editor at some point. It's a weird thing. You got to trust.
Yeah. Well, I guess
because you don't want to throw good after bad.
Yeah, like the guy that was Aaron was the one filming a lot of your stuff. I don't know if he still is, right? At least when we first talked.
When he can.
When he can. Okay, so.
Yeah, Aaron and Kevin are my two main videographer friends.
Okay, but so you're having to own most of the editing now, it sounds like?
I'm still doing most of the editing,
okay.
Yeah, which it's good. Like, I like having that control, but also, I mean, I'm only catching so much angel food cake. Like,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
There's so much left on the bone. There's stuff that we shot from the summer that I haven't edited yet, just because.
It's
because you got to fit it in between doing new stuff and also being creative and trying to fit your writing in.
Yeah,
and being Michael Sawan amongst being SoftMax.
Yeah. Well, with the editing side, I'm curious. Have you messed much with any of, I guess, the different AI kind of based services or platforms? Just because I know just for some of our just short, just 30, 90 second whatever clips, just to churn out a bunch, just, there's things that we'll do intentionally, but just to kind of have an easy flow of stuff just because the time it would take to actually do. I didn't know if you've kind of dabbled with, any of the AI stuff out there much at all.
That's an interesting idea. I haven't. On the one hand, like, I'm trying to stay away from AI, like pictures and things, and book covers and stuff. I've wanted to stay away from. Like, any new books I release, I'll definitely either do myself or hire somebody.
Right.
But editing's important. I mean, editing, it's like there's a sense of style and a sense of like fun, and like experimentation with editing. I wonder if I were to put all the footage into AI, would it come out?
How would it?
And again, because I'll still do our most of our own editing for important stuff, but then it's almost just like having the mindset of why can't I do both? Just because the capacity and bandwidth that I have to where, and you can still kind of tinker and create your own template. So you can still have the guidance behind, okay, I want you to produce, 20 different versions with these kind of, instructions in mind.
Right.
So where you're still guiding and dictating it what to do. And then it'll just be like having a team of people like, okay, here's 20 examples of what we think you want. And then you'd be like, okay, to where, because it was kind of it's been an interesting kind of the whole kind of journey, philosophically, artistic, and tech. You have all these thoughts about it, and then I've really just come to embrace and looking at it simply as a tool. Like, it's literally just a tool to really help me help us maximize what we want to do and create. And so and not leaning on it to be like, hey, tell us what to do, tell us what to talk about, tell us, not like that, but more like, we want to do these things, how can we do them better? Right. And just in that leaning, but it's just looking at it as a tool. So I mean, because it's worth learning about. I would say, just because it's it can help, like I said, the editing and capacity and bandwidth, and just you can only do so much if you don't have someone else that can help you do it.
Right. Well, and in my normal job, my day-to-day job, like, sometimes I haven't had to do this lately, but if I'm working on some sort of like coding project, and it's just like what I used to do on Google, like what I used to just say, like, how to if then loop, Visual Basic or whatever, like, just to give me an example. Plugging that into AI, or even plugging code into AI, like, hey, this doesn't work, why? It is useful. I mean, and I've heard that of Tone, the guy I was talking about earlier who played Ian Queen. He's a graphic designer. I think he's the one who said, it's useful for it's you know, it can make you a finished product. It's going to look like AI. It's more useful for making your own work go faster, like making individuals more efficient.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the best way to put it. Your deficiency that you can have using it as a tool. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The way he did.
So I'll look at which one are you using?
So and I've only really messed with the Opus clip for just kind of OPUS clip, just for you can do give it a link to one of your YouTube videos, and you can click templates, and you can select the duration of time, up to 60 seconds, up to this, at the aspect ratio, and just select all these different options, and then it'll generate like 30 different clips. And then you can even have it schedule them to auto post to your social platforms.
Yeah.
So, and I've messed with a few, and that's at least the one that I've felt like has been the best, easiest to use, and actually kind of output, in line with what I wanted. Because there's a bunch of different, and there's just gonna be more and more. It's wild, but that's the one that I've found to be the most user friendly and just efficient for just splicing up, creating little short form chunks of something long form you might have is kind of the way I use it, just to basically promote and point to try and get the eyeballs hopefully to the long form product, right? But
it's crazy, and it's not expensive either. Just looking at their plans real quick.
Oh yeah,
I think. But then the other side of that is, would it be better just to hire an editor I like and trust and pay him or her, just so that I'm contributing to the economy?
Yeah. Well, and also too, it's like
a
it's
weird
nice
place to be. I know
if
what
you
you mean, man.
by doing it that way, you also they can call you and say, hey, I noticed this, or hey, this happened. So there is a whole a whole other side of it that's that with
but you
having
see how
an
cheap
actual
it is,
editor.
to where it's like, $30, I could do both.
It's freaking cheap. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but
it's ridiculous how cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wanted to note in one of your episodes so do you have to get like permission for something? Do you get? I know you're being invited places. The places you're not invited, or did you have to check with getting any kind of a permit with the city to be able to go out and shoot places or anything like that, or that's not how?
We're stealing shots constantly.
We're guerrilla.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it's like I'm wondering like with the cemetery, like I saw y'all in the cemetery, like
so that was in Cincinnati. So that cemetery is also a public park.
okay,
So
Interesting.
So that was nice because there's a very nice park in Cincinnati called Spring Grove, which is very picturesque, and that's ideally where we would have been, but. To get permission to be in, we would have had to have gotten permission. It's a very popular, well-kept place.
Okay.
So instead, we went to this Pioneer Cemetery, which is now a Hamilton County park. And actually, Bojangles, BJ, he brought this up with me like a few days before we went and shot. He said, "Don't we need a permit to like be in there?" Are you sure?
It's like, why are you bringing this up now?
It's funny. The guy that was ready to burn your book up was like, "Dude, don't we need a permit?"
I assumed it's a park. Anybody can be in a park.
Yeah.
But then I went and looked into it, and I think we were in sort of a gray area where if you're just filming, like if you're doing a cookout and you're filming your cookout, no permit required, no problem. If you're doing like a full-fledged Hollywood production with a crew, and if it's going to be disruptive in the park, if like other people aren't going to be able to use the park, then you have to pay.
Okay.
Well, we weren't a full-fledged Hollywood crew, and we weren't really disruptive. We were there for about an hour. So I just erred on the side of ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But all those shots in Kroger, we just run into Kroger.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned Kroger, because I was going to say they actually do have some of your books stocked in our cereal aisle now over here. So it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, great collab.
Great, yeah.
Great collab with Kroger. Speaking of collabs, is there any specific maybe celebrity or something that you would like to do? Have you ever thought of like, is there anybody out there you'd like to do a collab with? Regardless of if you thought of it or not, who comes to mind?
I mean, I would. Yeah. So like, actually I was just in Los Angeles for work. Well, I was in Huntington Beach for work, and I reached out to Chad Damiani and
Oh,
Andre
cool.
Highland. I reached out to both of them just because I was going to be in the area just to see if they were available. And everybody's busy.
Yeah.
Once I actually started looking into it, Huntington Beach is an hour from Los Angeles. And I was there for a work conference, and it would be like an hour drive to get to where they were.
Yeah.
And that's like an $80 Uber one way.
In LA
And it's
traffic
like,
on like who knows how long that might have actually been.
Yeah. So I mean, ideally, those are people I respect, and you know that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But it didn't make sense in the moment. The conference sucked, by the way.
Did it?
Yeah.
Sucky conference.
Nice. The weather was very nice. The weather was very nice, and the food's very good. But I think that's my 4th year going to the conference, and it's
pretty rough.
Same. It's pretty much the same every year.
Yeah.
And like you ask a direct question about these products, and you just get like the runaround and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, along the lines of celebrities, we had a little game we were gonna play with you. We have a little something we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull up pictures here for you,
All right.
and we're gonna see if you can tell us who these celebrities are.
Oh my God.
So
And-
don't pay attention to what I'm sharing right away.
Yeah,
'cause
don't
I'm
look,
just
don't
gonna
look.
cycle
Oh, he
through.
can't look. Yeah, he's not looking. By the way, too, I'd like to say I do enjoy the earring. The new earring is nice. Going to Claire's, getting that done. That's nice, man. And I've noticed. Have you been switching it in and out for different scenarios?
So I always wear. I try and always wear the heart earring. The
Okay.
Stud.
The
That's the
little-
one that we got at Claire's, and that
Okay.
was just a spur of the moment thing. We were there filming a premise with my friend Daniel, and where he was a mall cop, and I was trying to sell my books, and so that's The Rock. But
Okay.
Oh, okay. You got the first one right.
All right, hang on. Keep going.
But then Harley, my girlfriend, got me this pumpkin earring.
Oh,
which
nice.
is what I wear if I'm not clowning.
The little pumpkin. Okay.
Oh, like the little
Yeah,
emoji.
because I was just
but
about
they
to
were
say.
getting
Yeah, I was just about to say because I noticed that I feel like you have the little red one in sometimes or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's got a different one in now.
Yep. When I'm clowning, I wear the heart stud, and when I'm Michael, I wear the pumpkin.
All right.
That's
All
a
right.
good little secret that
So
we
we've
know.
got right now, Michael. You've already guessed one celebrity.
Dwayne
We've got like
Johnson.
11 or 12. But
So
we
we're
don't
gonna
have
go to
too big.
another one.
Well, about The Rock, did you see that whole heel turn, the John Cena
Yes,
heel turn?
I did. I
and
did.
The kids crying videos?
Yes, the kids were devastated. I don't know what they were thinking, making the man the guy who has done more Make-A-Wishes come true than anybody. They're like, let's make this guy be a bad guy.
Hey.
Devastated the children.
You got to mix it up.
It was literally like whenever in that movie with the dinosaurs when the mother dinosaur
Jurassic Park?
died. No, when
Oh,
the
Land
mama-
Before Time.
Was that it with
Yes,
Littlefoot?
Littlefoot.
Yeah,
That was the saddest
literally
movie as a
right
kid,
there. Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
the
That's what they
saddest
did to
movie
these
ever.
children. That's what they did to these poor kids.
They gave him Littlefoot treatment.
Exactly.
Took
All
out
right.
the mom.
So here's
let's
our
see
next celebrity.
That's Mark Ruffalo.
Okay.
All right.
This guy's 2 for 2, man. You're redeeming yourself.
Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Oh, Cincinnati boy. That's
Matthew Pitts.
Clooney.
Oh, George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Let's see.
Look at him, dude. He's on a roll.
Fucking Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
I've seen that guy before.
Oh. Certified lover boy.
Drake. Okay. See, we.
The bad Dre from Aubrey. Snoop Dogg.
Yep.
Snoop
that
Dogg,
would be
okay.
Snoop Dogg.
All right.
Fucking Beyonce.
Beyonce. All right. He's doing good.
That's Kelsey's girlfriend.
D-
That's
Kelsey's girlfriend. There we go. You nailed it.
There
Right
we go. That
That's
works.
it. That works.
Okay.
Taylor Swift.
And then just the last name works for these, whatever these are.
These are the Kardashians.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. What's who's
Oh my god.
who's this? Who's You recognize this guy?
It's not Macklemore.
See, okay, good. See, it's okay. You can take a minute if you need it.
Yeah, blow that thing up, dude. Cover us up. Blow. He needs to see it. He can't see it.
No, you
I
can see it.
keep forgetting his name.
There's Ryan office. Think there's a word that goes before it. People mail things. It might help you.
Post Malone.
There-
Right. You know, and there's one more that there's one more that I just I think you might recognize this guy. I don't know. This we'll see. This will be a quick one. Who's that?
Oh.
Okay, let's go. And let's see. We don't have to say who that is, and we're having fun.
So yeah, I figured, you know what, I'll give him a chance at redemption here, see if he can get some of these celebrities. And you did a great job. You really did a great job.
Something about Post Malone. I remember when Post Malone.
Pull up Hank Williams Jr. Sorry, go ahead.
I remember when Post Malone first.
Do you
came
actually
around.
want me to? Okay.
I had no idea who he was, and I was hearing about him from like 16-year-olds, and like they were I forget why I was even talking to this kid, but he was bragging about how like, oh yeah, my dad's in the entertainment industry, and he talked to Post Malone, and he got Post Malone the show at Bunbury, and I was like, who the fuck is Post Malone? I had to be like pleasant, and like, oh cool, yeah, totally, yeah. So like ever since, I know very little about Post Malone other than he did that Nirvana set during.
Right there, the second one from the top. No, up above it says Post Malone. Right there. So this is a picture. Can you see what we're sharing?
Let me share this here.
This is the side by side of Hank Williams Jr. and Post Malone from Hank Williams, an early album cover from from his greatest hits.
Yeah.
It's startling at the resemblance. Hang on, you got to do the one in the second one.
It's right here.
Yeah, pull that one up. All four of them.
Yeah.
Because it shows it's kind of startling at how similar.
Yeah.
The resemblance between Hank and him is.
I mean, they might be the same person.
Hank the Fourth. Yeah.
Have you guys seen any of those videos of the ones where people try and act like all these celebrities are cloned, and they're like, look at their eyes and their nose, it's the same.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's so funny. It's I just think we all actually end up kind of looking alike because there's so many of us over time.
Yeah, eventually we're gonna have similarities. So, you had talked about the books, getting back into your book stuff. Do you have you said there's a book? Can you tell us anything? We want to know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So right now it's getting there. I got like 10,000 words left, like new words to write, and then I have to probably edit most of it.
Okay.
But it's 13 short stories about love.
Okay.
And,
I love the short story idea.
Yeah. Well, so I was editing the 4 books. I was kind of bringing them all to completion, and still sort of like had the compulsion that I had to write something.
Yeah.
So short stories were a little more manageable at the time. And then I let it sit for about a year while I've been working on all this video stuff. But I'm finishing it up now, getting back into it with my writing group and all. And so, yeah, hopefully release that over the summer. I'll self-publish that one as well, because from what I understand, short story collections are a tough sell for any author, especially a new author. And then next summer, I'm going to try and have a new novel. I'm just kicking around ideas right now. I'm trying to have a new novel, and then see about traditionally publishing that one and make like a saga out of it to try and get like
like a clown Twilight saga, maybe, or something like that. You know?
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna self-publish it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna release it. I'm just gonna tease it, and then like talk a bunch of trash about trying to get literary agents and maybe do some wrestling style call outs.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was going to ask, I'm glad you brought that up. That was another note I had had you had any success, or have you looked for a literary agent? Because I know the last time we talked, you said that would be great to get one.
Sure. I spent like a few days during Hot Clown Summer, after we talked, probably like doing some research and trying to find agents. And there was one agency in particular I'm forgetting the name of, but they don't just do literary agents. They'll manage all of it. Like if you want to do video, if you want to do music, if you want to write, they'll do all of it. So I queried like 4 or 5 agents at that agency, plus some others that sounded interesting. And I think my query letter was a little cocky. I literally ended it with like, "Let's make some money."
I love it. No, that's great. No, that's awesome, because I don't think it's cocky, because I think it's perfect. You keep doing it because eventually you're going to find who you need to be with. You're going to find that person that's like, fuck yeah, I love it. That wants to bottle who you are and put that out there. That's hilarious. He said, let's make some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, their loss.
Well, only one of them replied, and she was nice about it. She asked for a sample of one of the books. I think I sent her the first 50 pages of Parasociopath because that one was doing well at the time.
Okay.
And she said, "I don't think this is quite my thing." But thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
But that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Have you seen? I know, Dick, you kind of sporadically promote your books still. Like, has
Yeah.
since you started this all, has it benefited your book sales much at all, or is
Hot Clown Summer for sure.
Hot Clown Summer for sure? Cool.
Book sales did very well.
Okay.
And, I stopped talking about them. We did a few pop-up book sales, and each time just diminishing interest. People know that books exist. Like if you started following me because of books, they exist, and you maybe already bought them.
yeah.
So that audience is, I think, tapped out, and I'm tired of talking about them.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to release a new book. I'll have a new thing to talk about. That'll just be stimulating all around.
Yeah, I'm excited. Your books have been so over the place that I couldn't guess in a million years what it might even be remotely about.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love it.
And I have another one. I was wondering, is there any fucking chance at all we're gonna get Left Ketis back? Another appearance of Left Ketis?
I would love to write another one. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. God,
He's
thank
such a
you.
fun character. Yeah.
I love.
Right.
I mean, him. I just picture him filling that coffee jug up after he fell asleep in that, or before he fell asleep, passed out in that pigsty.
Yeah. No, that's a super fun character. I'd love to write another Pepperoni or another Pizza Boys book.
Yeah, you see my pepperoni blanket here. So.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's actually, y'all can keep going, but there's something I had in here that I would like to. It was from your book, Pepperoni Powerhouse.
Cool.
It was a fantastic line because I was taken back. I was like, the fuck, like you just, I mean, this guy's handy with the pen.
A pen's a wordsmith of sorts.
So yeah, you just give me a minute to find it. Y'all go on.
Yeah.
Don't mind
Yeah. I
me.
mean,
But
so you go. Yeah.
Sure. I feel like Buki Messiah, that one, that's an ending. I don't think that one needs to be revisited. And then
Yeah, it's pretty definitive. That's the one that I read before we talked last time. The Bookie
Yeah.
Messiah. I
that
could see
one's
something
about-
else in that world, but it would be
Yeah.
because it's an interesting
Similar
world.
Yeah. And similar with Parasociopath, like that's those two end with death.
Right.
There's not really anywhere to go.
But that's if you ascribe to death being the end.
That's true.
Yeah, I think I saw an African proverb about death being
About,
simply the beginning.
Yeah, but if you have a bunch of people dying together, then you can die
Then you
farther.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yeah, like a book about Julian from Parasociopath, just getting tortured.
And so you are making me think a little bit about that. So in like your first episode, and I think it's genius and so funny that the skit about that funeral, that like plastic surgery for death or whatever, but just people die, and then the nude package, and then the cremation service. That because it's. I enjoy joking about death just because it's still interesting. 'Cause I get if some people have experienced death recently that their emotions, it can be okay. You don't want to offend them, but at the same time, it's something that it's for me. It's like it needs to be joked about almost, to where you celebrate life. Death is a part of life. So it's interesting that so. I'm just curious. Did you write the skits that were occurred or?
No, so that one, and a lot of credit to Kate Snyder. She wrote that one. I don't think I edited anything about that.
Okay.
I think it changed a lot in how we filmed it, just because of technical restrictions. But how it was written was how we tried to film it. And then Katie Geyer was Barry. Those two things combined, like how Kate wrote it and how Katie delivered it. It's even though it was about death and it was pretty morbid, it didn't feel like a downer.
It didn't.
It was presented in a very fun, kind of silly, positive way.
Definitely.
Especially the ends, just with Katie Geyer playing with that
Yeah.
ashy dildo.
Dude, I was just watching on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, I guess they can show that. I guess I don't know.
It's limited ads. Like if you have a sex toy, then you can't get full
Okay.
Like you're monetized to a lesser degree.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, they don't
I,
give a fuck.
all the little skits. So the other ones, did you have any part in writing any of them, or you just was it kind of cool collaboration? Like, hey, I'm doing this.
Sure.
You guys are part of it. This is an opportunity for
Sure.
you guys to kind of do your thing.
Yeah. So that first episode, so we had Barium Thick. That was Kate.
Barium
and then
Thick.
the political debate sketch that was written by my friend Jennifer Martinez. And I think that one, she and I kind of ended up co-writing that one because I think her first draft was pretty different from what we ended up filming. What other sketches were in there?
What about the coffee? The coffee one that was fucking hilarious.
Oh,
The
in
fill
second
like
episode.
fill me up or whatever. That shit. What was it they were saying? Where like she's sipping the coffee, whatever.
Oh, in the second episode.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was Molly Blackburn. That was the
Phenomenal, Molly.
Blackburn, and she wrote it too.
Oh,
And
cool.
that was, I think I gave her a couple notes, but she submitted, I think, the first 2 beats of that. It's called a runner, where you have a part of the sketch and then interrupted and then another part of the sketch. She wrote, I think, the first 2 beats, and then I asked for the 3rd beat. We didn't really change much about that either. She wrote it, performed it. I think Harley and I Harley kind of led filming on that one to make it look a little commercial. She's got a background in commercial photography. Yeah, that one was super fun. Yeah, I think the things, mostly it's written by my friends.
Okay.
I should make that clear. I should put that in the credits, like who wrote what, because yeah, it's definitely, they deserve the credit.
Yeah, it's a learning process, you know.
Yeah,
That's cool.
The 2 women talking outside of BJ's Brewhouse. That was Brantley. She's the woman standing on the left. She wrote that one. And those 2 in that sketch are such just great performers otherwise. Like I know them through improv, and they're just super fun to watch. And that one, even though it felt very casual and natural, that was probably the most loyally filmed of all the sketches.
Okay.
That one, like
a legit film production on the closest thing to it. Yeah.
They had it memorized. We filmed it like 3 or 4 times. The only thing that was improvised was when the puppet shows up at the end.
Yeah, so that was awesome.
They're pros. They nailed it. They went there and they did their thing.
They did a phenomenal job, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I really, yeah.
Yes, Brantley and Hillary, they're both hilarious.
Yeah, what y'all are doing is great.
Yeah.
Are there gonna be more episodes, shows you're doing?
Yeah, I would love to. Okay. So with the second episode, that took a lot of effort, and it's a little discouraging because it didn't do as well as I thought it might. But that old thing we were just talking about, where if we have a video hit, that'll be the first thing people go to check out. So that one will hopefully eventually get more attention. But yeah, I've already asked around for sketches for the 3rd episode. It's going to be set in a junkyard.
Well, cool. Where do we submit those to?
On my website. I think I've got submissions open through the end of the month.
Awesome.
SoftMaxPlus.com. If you get to the homepage and then navigate to the SoftMax Plus show page at the bottom, there's a bunch of there's some criteria I'm looking for. Like I do want the sketches to be generally, they can be morbid and they can be dark, but I do want them to be generally positive. Like the Barium Thick, that's a great example of like a dark sketch that's still somehow positive.
Gotcha.
Good humor.
And easy to film, so I've noticed in doing this a few times, the fewer actors you have, the better. This is all volunteer, so coordinating the schedules of 10 people who are all volunteering is too hard. We need like 2 or 3 actors, 2 or 3 cameras, and that's what we got. The fewer locations, the better. If your sketch has like 5 locations, that's
we got part of it shooting on Australia. If you could go there,
that's a lot. Yeah, more than one location for a sketch seems to be like a lot. I wonder, in this, I'm sure I probably already know the answer to this question.
Those pugs.
But yeah, the pugs keep breaking in. They don't give a shit. They live here and we just hang out here.
Pretty much.
And there she comes again. Here she is. She's like, "You closed the door." This is Lily. Come here, Lily.
Yeah, this is the other one.
America wants to see you. Yeah, this is my pug that Matthew was so amazing to give to me. And give her some camera time. She's a little smaller than Potato, and she's a little she's got like a little dark brindle kind of look. She's pretty though. I was gonna say this might be something that's kind of below your weight class or whatever, but it's something that I've seen lately, videos of on Instagram. And I noticed that there's kind of, once you start seeing popular videos on Instagram, that there's shortly to follow after. With some of them, I've seen that like it kind of catches on in a way, and that other people kind of notice it and it becomes a niche thing. And so one thing I've been seeing lately is zines, and they've been around for forever.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're familiar with zines. And I saw a video of a guy that showed how to make just a simple 8-page zine out of just a piece of paper, just exactly. And so I wondered if you thought about, creating maybe one little thing or something like that that could be a good promoting thing to either point people to your YouTube or to, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I actually, the improv theater, Molly, the one who wrote the coffee mug sketch, she's putting a zine together of flash fiction. Submissions are due in, I think, 5 days.
Oh, that's cool.
I want to submit to it, but yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's you're right. That would be a great thing to do.
Does a zine, does that all have to be just like done by hand? Is that like a criteria?
Typically, usually it's hand drawn, I think, but I don't think it has to be. You don't have to.
Anything you can print out on a 8x11 piece of paper and just snip up and I mean that's a great way to just have something fun. My concern about doing it myself would be the time issue again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I said, I got friends who are thinking similar things. I need to stay on top of supporting them when they do stuff like that.
Right on. Yeah.
I've been trying to think of something to submit to her for her zine. And that you're right. I should just.
Man, I can just I just imagine some of the art that's been done of you, of just almost being scenes in a zine.
It could be cool. It could almost be like you could do because we're kind of trying to create something here in Dallas known as the Traveler. Who I made it. There was one night we went out. We have like the Lady of the Lake thing here in Dallas, where there was allegedly, most states have it. I think is really some woman that was either killed or something by a lake or drowned.
Yeah, a car crash in there or something.
Yeah, and so that's what our story was. Is that we have something similar here, and so we did we kind of did a short with like a man under the umbrella, and like we started calling him like the Traveler. And so we thought about, it's like we've made some videos we need to release and whatnot about like, have you seen The Traveler? But really what I was going to say is that you could kind of create like some kind of zine that could be put out there to people that maybe have seen you but don't know who you are. It could be like if you've seen this clown, like, or whatever, like they could understand, oh, okay, that's who he is,
This is the way it works. Go talk to him.
Maybe provide a little context. It could be a cool way of, because I mean, I feel like you could just throw those out anywhere.
Yeah. That's a great idea. And they're easy
I love
to carry around,
zines.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I saw the video where the guy he made the one, and then he just took it and printed it out, made a shitload of copies, cut the copies, and then folded them up and just had a stack. And you can just, throw them out at bookstores,
Yeah, high schools, parking lots.
People love, little handouts. Like I used to have business cards that I ran out, but now I just hand these stickers out.
Yeah, those stickers are sick.
Yeah.
And people love free shit, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, give them all something to read too. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we aren't thinking of.
Yeah, how much of your success do you feel like is owed to us? How much do you think? Like, in the most humble way of us asking, in the most humble way, how much do you feel?
All of it.
All of it.
Wow.
See,
Well,
had a feeling.
The real answer is just consistency. Like a Hot Clown Summer, I think that was only so hot because I was able to maintain that ridiculous upload schedule of like 3 a day.
That's nuts.
I only stopped doing that maybe a couple months ago because it wasn't paying off like cool clown winter.
Yeah.
But also I was trying to work on the second episode of the show. But something about just that confluence of people's attention, and we had all the footage, and I just managed to make the time work to edit all that crap and release it all. Like, it's crazy that during that period, like, I would post a video that was just dumb bullshit. It was like, there's a video that I think of pops to mind where I'm just like up in the camera, just going like, and that got like 20,000 views.
Right?
It's kind of fascinating what gets what. It
just being an absurd clown, it was kind of make me think. So I mean, I guess at this point you just kind of going with the flow, but do you kind of foresee this SoftMax being, something you do the rest of your career, or is this kind of just going? See, whatever becomes naturally is what it becomes. I mean, is it because you're an author first and
If
foremost,
you see a
right?
path to it, you'll take it. Or
Yeah, I think I'm pretty lucky in that I could keep doing the clown character is very natural for me to do.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, sometimes it's a pain in the ass to put the makeup on and take the makeup off.
And you do that yourself, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not hard. It's just
time consuming.
Yeah.
But I don't see a reason why I would stop doing it.
Yeah. It's like a passion for you. It's not. You don't do it for life. You do it because you love doing it. Because you are one.
And it's iconic. Like, so, I mean, people around Cincinnati still recognize it. When I go to other places where they don't know me, like, people think I am somebody. They just don't know who I am.
That's
so
cool.
It's something about that look. Just it resonates with people, and they give it. They give it attention. It resonates. So I'm not. I don't see a reason why I would stop clowning around.
So you'll be buried in your clown makeup, is what it sounds like.
I was literally thinking that the other day. Like, I'll have a funeral for family, friends and family, where it's normal. Then I'll have a second funeral.
Right? No, it's natural to think about this stuff.
Where Mr. Bojangles gets up and he's like, "Get the fuck out, family! You don't need to see this shit." And then they just start painting you.
Yeah,
and
we're
you
gonna
up.
be putting one big casket together, so it's gonna be interesting because it's gonna be weird if we don't die. At the
we're
same
gonna have
time,
a family burial. If one of us goes first, the other one just has to, you know what you have to do. You know what you got to do. Yeah, exactly.
Seppuku.
Well, I'll just say, man, that I think that for whatever it's worth, I think that what you're doing, your natural, wherever this natural path is taking you into doing what you're doing now, I think you're on the right path. And I would just say, encourage you and all the people that are with you to stick with it and keep going, because it's like, you're gonna find your crowd, and I don't think it should be judged off of necessarily the merits in that moment of how many views did this get, or it didn't feel like it did as well. It's like, I think that eventually you'll just find, it's just a matter of finding your crowd, and I think that if you just keep sticking with what you are doing, the crowd that you actually find is going to be one that sticks and not one that just fades away. Whereas like the other crowd that's going to jump on you
find true
immediately,
believers.
Yeah, and the people that's going to jump on through those immediate clicks and likes, it's like they're going to come and go pretty quick.
Yeah.
But the people that really, are going to be able to make it to where you can do what you want to do for the rest of the foreseeable future, it's like, just stick with what you're doing, because I think it's great. Like,
thank you.
Completely, yeah. The same sentiments entirely. It's just the journey. So it's cool. It's been a wild journey. I mean, it's been a wild year and a half or two.
How long have you exactly been wearing? How long have you? Do you remember when the first day it was you put the clown paint on?
Yeah, it was March 1st of last year. Yeah,
man,
it was for this festival called Bachfest, which we just had.
Which you have a shirt on.
They gave me a shirt, and I was wearing the big paper mache head that Harley made at the parade the other day.
That was awesome,
and it was super fun. We got footage of that too. We got all sorts of stuff.
I love the comments on that one. People they beat me to it. They were in there talking about, you think the small town fame went to his head? And I was like, I think it did, man. I think it did.
I don't want to say too much else, but you've been on you've been on your local news. You've been on some other shows too, right?
Yeah, so over the summer, Jerome and I were on like a local morning show. That's when I drank that 40.
Yes, that was man,
was awesome.
I loved that they embraced it too.
Yeah, they were
cool.
Yeah,
good energy. And then City Beat, which is a local alternative paper, they did an article on what me and my friends are doing, and I think that's it. I think that's all the traditional media. Oh, cool. The Inquirer, which is our local main newspaper.
Yeah.
Their social media posted a picture of Harley and I with the big head and her just
that's awesome.
Affectionate sort of space with me.
Yeah.
That one did well. That's something they posted the other day.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, it's it's a weird brand that I've got going, where it's not because it can be crass, and it is a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't get a ton of attention from traditional media, but I get some.
Yeah.
And I think, hey, if I just keep going and keep trucking,
that's the beauty about this world. Traditional media is not even something you need to win.
Yeah, just keep trucking. I think what you all had said it's the numbers are the numbers. They're always going to be there. But if I can just feel like I'm making something that I care about, then that's the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, and so you had mentioned too, and if I'm not mistaken, you say you've mentioned your girlfriend Harley now a couple of times. You didn't, y'all weren't dating last time we talked, were you?
No,
you were.
I think we're coming up on 3-ish months.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, she's great. She's a very creative person. We actually kept running into each other while I was out clowning.
Really?
We ran into each other like 3 or 4 times, and then we just barely missed each other a few additional times.
Huh.
We almost ran into each other that first night a year ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just like two ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's really cool.
She offered to do a photo shoot for me, which turned out really fun. A lot of the photos on my website are by her right now.
Well, that's cool.
Then she brought up the idea of an actual date, which
So she asked you out. Okay.
Well, so the other thing about Hot Clown Summer is I had never gotten more female attention.
I remember you saying that. You were starting to get reached out by all sorts of them. It's like, whoa.
Settle down.
So this has all had to do all my life? It's like...
But my attitude was like, okay, the climate we're in and the amount of like, like Neil Gaiman's a piece of shit. Like now, Neil Gaiman's a piece of shit. Who else? Pick a man. Pick a man
right.
who's probably
Drake.
Probably done something.
Yeah.
Drake. And it's frustrating, to have that caveat next to somebody's work, and now they have a caveat next to their name.
Right.
So for me, getting all that female attention, I've never been the type of person to. I'm not a fuck boy.
Yeah.
I never have been a fuck boy, and it felt like if I start fucking fans, that's just opening me up for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blood. Even like the Aziz Ansari.
You end up screwing yourself in the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the Aziz Ansari story, that was years ago now, but
no.
There were 2 takes on that. Like if you believed the accusations, then it comes across as Aziz being kind of like a sexual pest. But if you're on the Aziz side of that argument, well, it sounds like it was just a bad date.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a lot of miscommunications. And
right.
So, I'm not a great communicator sometimes.
Right.
I can definitely imagine myself like,
misspeaking, just doing something that makes someone uncomfortable. It's like, whoa, it's like, dang it, well, there goes my life.
Yeah, if I'm just fucking random strangers, there's a very strong chance that there's going to be a miscommunication at some point. Especially if I'm just like, oh yeah, I got my Tuesday girl, I got my Wednesday.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, nightmare.
I hear SoftMax is a bit of a man whore.
Yeah, no kidding, dude.
No,
it's like, oh, hush up now. It's like that scene in Black Dynamite when Black Dynamite's walking down the street and these girls stop him. He's with a new girl, and these 2 little girls are like skipping rope, and she's like, "Oh, hey, little girls, how are y'all doing?" And they're talking. She's like, "My name's so and so. This is Black Dynamite." And the little girl's like, "My mama said my daddy's name is Black Dynamite." And the other girl said, "My mama said my daddy's name is Black Dynamite too." And he goes, "Oh, hush up now, girls. A lot of cats got that name."
It's just leave it all.
Yeah.
Don't have fans.
Man.
No, that's cool.
It's a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
It's never something I felt like I needed to do, and I never felt comfortable like approaching people in that way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm the local famous clown.
Yeah, we'll go on a date. It's like, yeah. So it sounds like you found somebody that's it was, it sounds like you found a cool chick.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
So Harley, very respectful about it. She was cool about it. We had good chemistry just when we would interact. And we continue to have good chemistry.
That's cool.
And there's a lot to be said for just having, monogamy is, maybe passe at this point. And, but there's a lot to be said for,
just being around somebody and enjoying yourself.
Enjoying company. Yeah.
Dependability and knowing the other person's going to be around and, building something together. It's also, it's a 3-month-old relationship. So,
yeah.
I think it's going very well though.
That's cool. That makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This guy's he's a cool guy too.
Yeah. I've recently I've entered a relationship too around the same amount of time that you've probably been with your
parallel.
Lady. Very similar vibe. It's nice, like you said.
Except he was dating everyone. They're like, no, I'm joking.
Oh yeah.
all one woman. My mom was listening. So
yeah, anybody. It didn't matter. You hit me up. I was there.
Oh yeah. So that's cool. Very cool.
No, but and she's the one you said that made you the big paper mache head? She's crafty as well.
That was her idea.
Man,
She's currently
shit.
working on.
She's on the
so-
payroll. All right.
Are you familiar with Big Boy, like Frisch's Big Boy
Yeah.
or Bob's Big Boy?
Yeah.
She's right now working on making like 4-foot tall Big Boy statues.
That's
each
awesome.
one like with a different thing going on. So there'll be like a Glenn Danzig one. There'll be all sorts of
Man.
different ones.
Glenn Danzig holding some fucking yams or
That's
something.
awesome.
You know what I mean? That'd be awesome, dude. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I love it, dude. That's cool, man. Shout out Harley. You found you a good one, and she's
Yeah.
she's a row in the clown's boat, and we love that.
Yeah. And all the crazy shit I do, I mean, she's supportive. Like,
That's awesome.
That's the
She's-
rare thing.
She
Yeah.
sees the beauty in
Yeah.
it. She sees the outcome. It's awesome. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Well, shit, dude. We appreciate you joining us again. I mean, we could keep sitting here and going down the rabbit hole of shit, but we'll let you.
We
get
gotta save
back
some
to
stuff
it.
for our next conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you're willing to join us again, man, love to have you back, and we'll look forward to
Yeah, man.
to talking with you again. Is there any way that maybe a fan or anybody, how can regular people just support you outside of maybe buying a book? What
Just check out the videos if you like them. Follow. That's
Or
that's
send
about
checks
it. There you go.
payable to
Share 'em
SoftMax
around.
at whatever
Gotcha. Well, I'm thinking about going door to door, so we'll see what happens. All right, Michael. Thanks for
Well,
being
thank
here,
you,
man.
Michael.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, it's an honor.
No, thanks for having me. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll see you again, brother.
All right.
All right. Have a nice night.
I almost broke this fucking beer.
Yep, I can just end it. There we go.
All right. See you
All right, bye.
Later, man.
Man. Well,
What a guy.
what a guy.
What a
man.
guy.
Goodness gracious.
What a guy.
Well,
I know you need to take a break to go tend to the baby.
yeah, and got to tend to my bladder as well.
Tend to it.
But dude,
We'll take a quick break.
yeah,
and,
we'll come back and
we'll be back. We'll wrap this up. And we are again. We have returned.
Yes.
And we hope you enjoyed. We hope you enjoyed our mutual friend SoftMax that has hopefully brought us together.
Yeah.
We hope that all of the north side of Cincinnati who knows of SoftMax that maybe brought you here. Thank you for coming here. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes,
And
indeed.
we're gonna, of course, we'd love to have him back. I'm sure we will have him back. If anything in the future, with that being said, feel free to hit us up and let us know either how we did or let us know next time if we have him back, stuff you want to know.
Yeah. Questions that we didn't ask or anything, because
Yeah.
we love talking to him, and I think he
Absolutely.
likes talking to us. So,
I'd like to think he does.
Indeed.
I'd like to think he does. So yeah, either way, this is this has been 2 episodes back to back now. I
Yeah.
felt last episode was great. I felt really good about it, and then now we're coming back and we're interviewing Michael Sawan, and again for the second time, which is crazy to think that it's already been over 6 months since the last time we interviewed him.
yeah, it's been over. We didn't hit it right at 6 months, but
No.
yeah, he was ready to talk, and it literally just felt like talking to a friend.
Yeah,
Which
it
was
really
really
did.
cool.
It felt
It
the
was so
first
comfortable
one-
and casual. The
Yeah.
first one was too, but obviously this is the first time, so it's still. But now we were just hanging out and talking, dude. It was great.
Yeah, it was
I
really
loved it.
cool, and I think that it'd almost be cool to I enjoy just. It's almost be nice to do an interview or a talk with him where it's just getting to ask him questions simply, that we want to know based off of just his creative stuff, how he's
Yeah.
continuously coming up with this stuff, or how he balances working with other people and his job and everything. Those are questions I want to know as us creating something here and
Yeah.
trying to make something as well. But I also too know that there's just a wealth of other questions I want to ask based on the content he shared.
Right.
So I want to be able to know that, and and that's what the majority of people want to hear as well, I think.
Yeah. But man, I thought it was great. Very uplifting experience. And that was yeah. And yeah, credit to you. You forged the relationship, and yeah, it's cool. I look forward
And-
to the continuation of it. And
Yeah, and
however it
too,
goes.
again, hats off. Like, I think that's something. It's like hats off to him for, and just a big that's why I think he's just such a cool guy, is because he didn't have to respond to me,
No.
and the only reason it's like, it all started with me just commenting on his page, being like, "Where do I buy your books?" I commented on a video, and he didn't respond. and then I just sent him a message and was like, "How do I buy your books?"
Yeah.
And then I realized after a little bit, like, why am I not, like, he probably has a link in his bio. And so I ended up going and finding a link. Come here, Lily. I ended up going and finding a link in his bio, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I buy his books, and then I have the thought, well, let me just see, like, maybe you'd want to be on the podcast.
Yeah. Hey,
and so I asked him.
To ask. All they can just say is
and then
no,
by the
right?
time he messaged me back, he's like, hey, sorry, man, like, I just saw your message, like, yeah, links are in my bio. And then that's when I was like, hey, dude, you know, I know this might be a long shot, but we have a podcast. And he was immediately like, yeah, I'd love to. And it was just like, it's just so cool.
Because you were talking about him bore you asked him on the show. You're like, hey, I like this guy's cool. I think he's got something. We're going to get him. It's like, all right, man, we'll see. And then it happens.
And shit. That's it. I got caught up in talking to him. I never got a chance to read. I'm going to read it now. I wish he was here. But this will be, maybe we could share a clip of it or something.
Yeah.
But this is from his book right here.
All right.
Pepperoni Powerhouse. And it's a part where he's talking about the one character in it, Noah. And it says, and again, I just thought it displayed his skill very brilliantly, that it's like, this guy is actually a very talented writer. And he's also a talented improv guy. But it says, Noah thought about the city and the woods. Both places grew, both places changed. The creatures taking advantage of every opportunity. And then even relationships between nature and the unnatural weren't permanent. So Noah remembered something her ecology teacher said, that nature would always reclaim the territories abandoned by humans. And then it goes on, but it's like, either way, in what I thought was like a
the imagery.
funny.
I love that. That's a beautiful, passage that you just read. Really.
Yeah, and it's just cool. It's like you pick this book up, sold by a man dressed as a clown, and you're thinking, it's like, okay, a pizza-themed gang corrupts the lives of 3 teenagers, part 1. And so, you're not expecting to necessarily find such good writing, and then you read it just on surface. Some people might not be.
Just like the whole clown thing. He didn't realize the depth to the clown, the whole clowning and what it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like a representative of the depth of him and everything he's doing as an artist.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So either way, that was the clip. That was the snippet I forgot to read on the podcast, but I just really loved that.
Let's call him back up here.
Let's get him back. Let's get him back
Michael.
right now. Michael, we need you back.
No, dude, that's really cool, man.
And also, too, it'll prove his friendship if we get him right back and he comes back.
He's in the shower. It's like, hey, guys, I wanted to answer.
Eventually, he's like, guys, look, I'm done. Okay? Like, I'm your friend, but just stop calling me.
He's like, when you hit me up at 5 in the morning for 7 days in a row. But no, man, that's good. I
guess think we can, let's find him a literary agent. Let's do that. Why not?
We could make a few phone calls. We might as well.
Yeah, we've got some.
We wanted to give him the opportunity to figure it out, but I think we will see what we can do.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. I guess this is a special episode because it's not,
episode.
Which is cool. I think we'll see. We might end up trying to do more of our interviews as special episodes separate from the main thing. We'll see.
Agree.
But that Mikey's been up, and that's just it makes more sense for multiple reasons. So we'll see.
So we might be, with that being said, we might be having more content come out because we can, maybe be squeezing in more interviews than we haven't even attempted to.
Yeah.
Because here we are on a Tuesday. And we're doing it. So now we need to it's like we might as well continue to do that. And speaking of guests, again, it seems as though last time we weren't so sure, but it looks as though he definitely will be joining us. But we need to hammer down the date.
Yep.
But we will be having, as Matthew said, Steve Favis.
Yeah.
He will be joining us, and again, he is a direct energy weapons guy.
And
he has some fascinating
many
information about
things,
it.
But
it's like he has an extensive career in robotics and things such as that. But what he's doing right now with his research in the direct energy weapon field is pretty fascinating because it's something that's talked about a lot, and if you can, there's a lot of talk and skepticism around it and stuff like that, which is, to be expected with any kind of new technology being presented. But either way, we're going to have him on, and we're excited to talk to him and just have him share with his thoughts and everything he's worked on with us, or with the audience, the same stuff he shared with us with our audience, because it's really quite fascinating. So
Yeah, dude. It's, it's kind of. I can't wait to I can't even try and talk about it, like and it'd be like, what are they talking about? It's like, this guy needs to explain it, because it comes from a technical background. It's very sound. It's not like just some.
It's not pseudoscience.
Guy. Yeah, it's not pseudo. It's like it's grounded in actual science, and so yeah, it'll be very eye-opening, interesting interview. Very much look forward to having that to share with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, it's like you said, just a coming from a really grounded place in the sense of where his thought process is behind it all and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, super excited to get him on here, because it was like, just in our little talk we did, preliminary talk with him, it was like pretty. I feel like I could have just kept talking to him, and I was like, okay, we got to save some stuff to.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I want to remember and like.
Yeah.
But it was good, because I got to get a lot more questions and know what was good to ask and things like that. So I'm just excited, because I feel like anybody who is curious and inquisitive will, benefit from the episode.
Yeah, most definitely. But, well, I think it's about time I gotta put little baby to bed. But man, yeah.
Well,
magical time.
There's only one thing to say.
Be seeing you.